when are we going to coordinate a Bonita to Venice ride?
Let's do it. Let's do it now. Yeah, so I'm Darlene Culpepper. Me and my husband Wesley own Bicycles International in Venice, Florida. We are going on our 40th year in business. Also, in turn with that, I work for the City of Venice. I'm the bicycle pedestrian coordinator. So I kind of work hand in hand with the mobility aspect, getting people on bike trails that kind of get them into our business as well. Having an object or a multi-use trail like BERT with the Legacy Trail, it really is about connecting people into shared spaces. So some of the parks, there's actually quite a few parks that you're not accessible to go to here in the City of Venice by a vehicle. It is either a walking or bicycle path. So you're able to actually get into these shared experiences with your family and go somewhere that not everybody can go to. So it's really about connecting the people to the environment and getting to places and businesses and supporting the local and small town feel and keeping it a small town. We have a lot of people moving into the City of Venice. We're a very small community, but we are a bicycle-friendly community. We're recognized by the League of American Bicyclists, a silver-rated community. So we have a lot of people that move into the area just for biking in general. A lot of families coming in. So we have a lot of high schools and schools themselves getting built, and we're working on trails to kind of connect all that together. The best way to look forward to something having a longer trail is just being able to see another town. You know, if they've lived in Venice their whole life, it is a smaller community, so being able to go to Sarasota all the way up to Tampa or further north, and just get to see the little charm that each town holds, I think is really cool. And then I think a lot of cyclists like it because they can train for longer distance rides. So there's a lot of rides that do 100-mile bike rides and they don't want to ride, 30-mile loops to hit 100 miles. So they can just take one long trip heading north and see where they can get and really get those miles in for training. It really does help the athletic person that's kind of training, not necessarily for getting up to certain speeds, but just kind of keeping their self in the saddle for a long period of time. When you have a trail that runs through towns, it's going to run over major corridors. You do end up having bridges or stoplights and that type of thing for safety. The biggest thing for safety is just getting those riders off of major, thoroughfares. So, even if you have a street that might have a low mile per hour, say 25 mile per hour, people don't ride that. But, put a car and a bike next to those positions, next to each other on a lower stress street. If there was any kind of incident, the cyclist is always going to fare badly. So taking them off of the street and putting them on a designated trail for cyclists and multi-use purposes, it just kind of gives them a little bit more confidence that they'll do a little bit more riding, a longer ride, encourage friends to come ride with them, take their family out, their kids, their grandparents. It just gives them a little bit more security that they know they can get from point A to point B and have a good time. As a mom, being able to let my kids ride and not have to worry about a car barreling by is the most calming thing I could actually encounter. I do live in a quiet neighborhood and a very low stress street, but I have to keep an eye out for cars even in my neighborhood at the end of a dead end turn. So being able to put them on the trail, they've got their helmets on. I know if they fall, it's gonna hurt, but I'm not worried about a car mowing us over. So I think it affects the tourism, the housing in that area. I really do feel like the Legacy Trail specifically is a backbone to the community. People that cycle and walk and use the trail like to stop off at local places. They like to stop for coffee. They like to stop at local restaurants. So that foot traffic is really what drives the community up by supporting our local businesses, and then also too, it makes it more attractive because those people are sharing their wonderful experiences on their social media and with their family and their friends. So it's making the town itself more attractive to people and bringing in more tourism. There are people that actually come to this town to ride the Legacy Trail. So they come here looking for bike maps, looking for places to stop and eat while they're out on their journey for the day. Just feedback from us because we live here. So they want our personal experience to know what's here, what's the best, what's the worst, and we can kind of provide that, make sure they know how to get to places a little bit more safely. and just kind of connecting them to all those really hometown places that we enjoy on a regular basis. So with our, ever-growing AI and technology world that we're in, there's a lot of things that tend to lead people to national brands. And, ads are targeted towards people. But when you're on a bike trail and you stop, there's none of that. It's all open spaces, it's parks, it's recreation, it's good times. And you're gonna go to that local business and support them versus wherever that ad was gonna send you to online. As a business owner, we probably have close between 80 to 100 bicycle rentals, whether they're e-bikes, regular bikes, kids bikes, tricycles, and those during season will all be rented out on any given day. For a month solid, we won't have a rental bike in this facility. So I really truly believe that people that may not actually own a bike or just visitors coming into town, it's just giving them something to do to see the town another way, not getting stuck in traffic, not getting stuck at, showing up somewhere and not having a place to park and they go, well, let's go find somewhere else. They actually have that means of getting around town and seeing some of the stuff a little more one-on-one and personable. And I like the fact that as a small town that we are, people that I have personally taken on bike tours, they get to see certain, trees and beautiful plants that they wouldn't see, because if you're going 30 miles in a car, you're not gonna notice it. So it really gives you time to stop and smell the roses, really. What I would say to the business leaders in this realm of building a multi-use trail in their area, it's about building opportunity. It fuels that economic development. It's building a space for people, for fun, for recreation, for transportation to and from work. And it's really about connecting all of them together. And it's building it, it's not just good for business, it's good for families, it's good for the town, it's good for small businesses. Connection, supporting, and health. Connecting people to places, it's supporting the small businesses and the community, and getting people out there and enjoying a healthy activity. It's a very rewarding thing to have a trail going through your town. People come to your town to ride that, to experience what your trail has to offer and experience what the small local shops have to offer. So being able to have somebody, willing and dedicated to that trail also outside of just a friendly group or outside of your municipality shows that their dedication to connecting people to spaces and safety is really a high priority. So I think the vision that supporters should have really kind of comes down to connections. You want to connect businesses with people and parks and just things to do. So having all that connectivity between local businesses and then the parks that we work so hard to maintain for families, and just getting to and from areas. Luckily right now with the Legacy Trail, we can go all the way into Sarasota with all the bridges we're building, so it's a lot safer. It is going to take you a little bit longer, but it makes it more of an enjoyable ride.